What if I told you there was once a piece of software, just a few thousand lines of code, that was so powerful it could outsmart the biggest banks on Wall Street? A robot that could predict Forex moves with machine-like accuracy, generating profits that seemed impossible. And what if I told you that when its creator refused a $2 million buyout offer to bury the code forever, his life changed overnight? This isn't science fiction. This is a real story from the dark side of AI finance. It all started in a small apartment in Boston. A 29-year-old coder named Daniel had spent years experimenting with Forex algorithms. Most of them failed. Some made small profits, but nothing extraordinary. Until one night, using an AI model trained on 30 years of currency data, political events, and even weather reports, he struck gold. The bot didn't just trade. It anticipated. It predicted central bank announcements. It flagged currency swings hours before markets moved. It was like having tomorrow's newspaper today. At first, Daniel thought it was luck. He ran a test account. $500 turned into $5,000, then $50,000. And it kept going. But when he tried it on a live broker platform, strange things started happening. Trades executed perfectly for days, until suddenly the broker froze. Orders were delayed, profits disappeared. Daniel complained. No response. Then the calls began. A man claiming to represent a private investment group offered him $2 million in cash for exclusive rights to the code. The condition? The bot would never see the light of day again. Daniel refused. He believed in open technology. He wanted the world to know. That's when everything turned. His accounts were shut down. His broker banned him. Forums where he had shared results deleted his posts. Rumors spread that hedge funds were leaning on brokers to blacklist him. Within weeks, Daniel went from building the future of trading to being erased from it. Because here's the dirty little secret. Wall Street doesn't fear losing money. It fears losing control. And an AI robot in the hands of ordinary people is the one thing they can't control. Daniel was not your typical Wall Street trader. He wasn't wearing tailored suits or sipping whiskey at exclusive Manhattan clubs. He was a coder. A quiet, obsessive programmer who believed that with enough data and the right algorithms, the chaos of the Forex market could be cracked. For years, Daniel failed. He poured endless nights into neural networks, teaching them to recognize currency patterns. Most of the time, the bots blew up his demo accounts. Sometimes they survived a few weeks, only to collapse when the market shifted. But Daniel kept going. Because for him, failure was just data. Then one night in 2019, after months of feeding his AI endless terabytes of Forex charts, political speeches, oil prices, and even sentiment data scraped from Twitter, something clicked. His model began spotting moves no human eye could detect. It didn't just react, it predicted. On a Wednesday evening, the AI flagged an upcoming swing in the EUR-USD pair. The reasoning was eerie. A speech scheduled for the European Central Bank president would cause uncertainty language, triggering a sell-off. Daniel placed the trade. The next morning, just as predicted, the euro tanked. He doubled his bet. Again, it worked. For weeks, the AI nailed trade after trade. Tiny positions snowballed into thousands. His $500 demo account ballooned past $50,000. The machine didn't win every time, but its accuracy was so high that losses felt insignificant compared to the consistent wins. Daniel knew he had built something dangerous, but danger attracts attention. When he went live on a broker platform, his profits skyrocketed. He bragged in small Forex forums, posting screenshots of 90% win rates. People begged him for access. Some called it fake. Others whispered, "This guy cracked the code." And that's when he noticed the resistance. Trades started slipping. Orders executed seconds late, ruining his entries. Profits vanished mysteriously from his account statements. His broker sent him vague warnings about unusual activity. Daniel didn't realize it then, but his bot had tripped alarms not just at the broker, but on Wall Street itself. Because Forex brokers aren't neutral. Many run B-book models, where when you win, they lose. And Daniel wasn't just winning, he was destroying them. Then came the phone call. A smooth voice introduced himself as representing a private investment group. They knew about Daniel's bot. They wanted it. The offer, $2 million cash, up front. The condition, the bot would never be released to the public. Daniel laughed. "You think I'll just sell this and bury it? People deserve to use it. I built it for freedom, not for billionaires." The man's tone shifted. "Daniel, you don't understand. This isn't about freedom. It's about stability. If tools like yours spread, markets will collapse. Take the money. Walk away." Daniel refused. That's when the real war began. His broker banned him. Forum posts he made were deleted overnight. Colleagues who once supported him suddenly cut contact. He started receiving anonymous emails. "You're playing with fire. Stop." Daniel thought he was being paranoid. Until one night, walking home, he noticed a black SUV idling near his apartment. Inside, two men in suits stared straight at him. The message was clear. Wall Street wasn't asking anymore. It was warning. And Daniel had just become the most dangerous man in Forex. Daniel thought he could outcode the system. He believed that building smarter algorithms would give ordinary people a fighting chance against the giants of finance. But what he didn't know was this: Wall Street doesn't play fair. The moment Daniel refused the $2 million offer, invisible hands began moving against him. First came the brokers. His trading accounts were suddenly flagged for suspicious activity. Withdrawals were delayed, sometimes for weeks. Customer service gave canned answers. Compliance review. But Daniel knew the truth. Brokers weren't protecting the market. They were protecting themselves. Every trade his AI made was costing them money. Next came the forums. Daniel had proudly posted his results online. Screenshots of trades, detailed breakdowns, code snippets. But overnight, his posts vanished. Entire threads were deleted. When he reached out to moderators, no one replied. In one private message, a sympathetic user whispered, "They don't want this out there. Stop before it's too late." Then came the rumors. On niche Forex boards, whispers spread that Daniel was a fraud. Fake accounts flooded the threads, calling him a scammer, a liar, even accusing him of running Ponzi schemes. His reputation was being systematically destroyed. But Daniel still had his bot, and the bot kept winning. So Wall Street escalated. One evening, Daniel received a letter from his bank. His personal account was frozen, pending an anti-money laundering investigation. He hadn't done anything illegal, but the AI's trades had made so much money so quickly that the bank flagged him as a risk. Days later, he noticed the SUV again. This time, it wasn't parked. It was following. Daniel's friends urged him to stop. "Take the money, Dan. $2 million is life-changing. Why fight the system?" But Daniel wasn't motivated by greed. He was driven by something far more dangerous to Wall Street: conviction. He believed ordinary people deserved access to the same tools hedge funds used. And his bot had proven one terrifying truth: markets are not random. They are predictable if you have the right machine. That's when the offers turned into threats. Another call came. Same smooth voice, less polite this time. "You don't understand, Daniel. We're not asking you anymore. This isn't about you making money. It's about protecting the market. Release this bot, and you destabilize the entire financial system. Do you want that on your conscience?" Daniel laughed bitterly. "No. What you mean is you'll lose control, and that scares you more than anything." The line went dead. The very next morning, Daniel logged into his broker account, and it was gone. All funds erased. Customer service claimed it was a technical issue. When he threatened legal action, they stopped replying entirely. He turned to crypto exchanges, hoping they'd be freer. But even there, his accounts were flagged and restricted. Someone, somewhere, had pulled strings to choke him out of every platform. The AI robot that once printed money was now useless, because the system itself had turned against its creator. But Daniel refused to give up. He backed up his code on encrypted drives. He sent copies to trusted friends. And he began whispering in underground forums again, telling traders, "I built something they fear. If they're burying me, you should ask why." The whispers grew louder. Traders begged him to release the code. But Daniel hesitated. He knew what would happen. If his AI spread, it wouldn't just make ordinary people rich. It would shake the foundations of global finance. And that's why Wall Street was hunting him. Because the real danger wasn't Daniel making millions. The real danger was millions of Daniels using his code and ending the game that Wall Street had rigged for decades. Daniel thought the fight was between him and a few angry brokers. But he was wrong. The moment his AI was flagged, his story jumped from small trading forums into the dark halls of Wall Street. The hedge funds had taken notice. For decades, they had spent billions building their own proprietary trading algorithms. AIs running on supercomputers, trained on private data streams no ordinary trader could access. These systems made them billions. But Daniel had done the unthinkable. He had built something comparable, maybe even better, in his tiny apartment with a second-hand laptop. And worst of all, he was sharing it. In underground Telegram channels, whispers spread of Daniel's bot. People claimed to have seen screenshots. Some even received early copies of the code. A few lucky testers reported making thousands overnight before suddenly getting banned by their brokers. Wall Street panicked, because if this code leaked widely, the game was over. Millions of small traders would have the same predictive power as billion-dollar hedge funds. The carefully maintained illusion that markets are random, that only the rich have the discipline and strategy to win, would collapse. So the hunt began. Daniel noticed his emails being intercepted. Messages to friends bounced back. One morning, his internet provider cut him off with no explanation. Then came the visits. Anonymous men in suits showing up at his building, asking neighbors questions. He wasn't paranoid. He was being watched. In Europe, news began to spread of a mysterious American AI banned by multiple brokers. Financial journalists caught wind of the story, but every article that mentioned Daniel's name was quickly retracted. Websites posted leaks, only to be taken offline hours later. It was as if an invisible hand was scrubbing him from the internet. But the harder they tried to erase him, the bigger the whispers grew. In London, traders nicknamed his creation the Ghost Bot, because anyone who used it seemed to vanish from the trading platforms. In Singapore, a private trading group offered $500,000 just for a working copy. On Reddit, threads exploded with conspiracy theories. Was Daniel working with insiders? Did he hack broker servers? Or had he truly cracked the Forex code with AI? The truth was simpler and more dangerous. He had built a machine too powerful for ordinary people to own. The offers returned. Not $2 million this time. Bigger. Hedge funds discreetly reached out, offering buyouts of $10 million, $20 million, anything to take the bot off the market. Daniel refused them all. He wasn't doing this for money anymore. He was doing it to prove a point. If a single man could build this, then the myth of Wall Street's superiority was a lie. But his defiance came at a cost. His friends stopped answering calls. His family begged him to stop. Strangers followed him to the grocery store. His bank accounts were closed one by one. And then came the final blow. One morning, Daniel woke up to find his name plastered across financial blacklists. No broker would touch him. No exchange would let him on board. Anonymous articles accused him of fraudulent activity. Some even hinted that his bot was linked to cybercrime. He wasn't a hero anymore. He was being painted as a villain. But Daniel didn't break. Instead, he doubled down. He encrypted the bot's code, spread fragments of it across servers worldwide, and told a handful of trusted allies, "If they bury me, the bot lives on." That's when it happened. A major financial leak, details of Daniel's bot and the offers to buy him out, was exposed by an anonymous whistleblower. The documents revealed that multiple hedge funds had not only tried to buy the bot, but had also pressured regulators to declare it illegal. The story exploded online. For the first time, the public saw the cracks in the system. Daniel wasn't just a coder anymore. He was a symbol. A man who built something Wall Street feared so much, they tried to erase him from existence. And now the world was watching. By now, Daniel's life was no longer his own. He couldn't walk the streets without glancing over his shoulder. He couldn't open his laptop without wondering if someone else was watching. But even as Wall Street tightened its grip, his story slipped beyond their control. The whistleblower leak had changed everything. Screenshots of internal emails revealed hedge fund executives admitting, in their own words, that Daniel's AI posed a systemic risk to market stability. They weren't worried about fraud. They were worried about fairness. If everyone had access to Daniel's bot, their billions in advantages would evaporate overnight. The documents also showed the offers. First 2 million, then 10 million, then more. Each time Daniel refused, the pressure escalated. The leaks proved what Daniel had been saying all along. They didn't want to buy the bot to use it. They wanted to buy it to bury it. The internet erupted. On Reddit, entire communities formed around Daniel's name. Some called him the Satoshi of Forex. Others branded him a digital Robin Hood, fighting billionaires with nothing but code. YouTubers dissected his trades, trying to reverse engineer the secrets. TikTok filled with clips dramatizing his story, turning him into a folk hero. And Wall Street hated every second of it, because the more they tried to erase him, the bigger he became. The Streisand effect was in full force. Every deleted article fueled 10 more conspiracy theories. Every fraud alert made people dig deeper. Soon Daniel wasn't just a man, he was a movement. Traders across the globe began experimenting with open-source AI bots inspired by his story. Forums once controlled by brokers now brimmed with DIY coders determined to finish what Daniel started. Underground communities traded fragments of his code like holy relics. And here's the irony. By trying to silence him, Wall Street had unleashed thousands of Daniels. But the legend came with a price. Governments stepped in, declaring AI-driven trading by retail investors illegal. New regulations were rushed through. Brokers were ordered to shut down accounts that showed non-human patterns. News anchors warned of dangerous algorithms threatening the economy. They painted Daniel as a reckless anarchist who endangered global finance. But to millions of ordinary people, he was the opposite. Proof that the game was rigged and that someone had finally beaten the house. In secret corners of the internet, traders whispered about him as if he were already gone. A ghost haunting Wall Street's nightmares. But Daniel was still alive, still coding, still fighting. One night, on a hidden forum, he posted a single chilling message under his old username. "They can shut me down. They can ban my accounts. They can freeze my money. But they can't stop the truth. The bot exists, and it's not going away." The message spread like wildfire. Screenshots went viral. The world now knew that somewhere, in some encrypted server, Daniel's bot was alive, waiting, watching, and that's when the real question began echoing through trading floors, government offices, and bedrooms of small-time traders across the globe. If one man with a laptop could do this, what happens when thousands do? The AI arms race had officially begun. Daniel wasn't just a coder anymore. He was a legend, a warning, a symbol of what happens when technology falls into the hands of the people. And Wall Street's $2 million secret had just become the world's biggest scandal. So now you know the truth. Somewhere in a cramped apartment with nothing but a laptop and a dream, one man built a machine so powerful that Wall Street itself tried to buy it, bury it, and erase its creator from existence. They offered him $2 million not because the bot was worthless, but because it was priceless. Not because it failed, but because it worked. And that's the dirty secret no one in finance wants you to hear. The markets are not random. They are predictable if you have the right machine. But here's the catch, you're not supposed to. When hedge funds deploy AI bots, it's called innovation. When billionaires use predictive algorithms, it's celebrated as the future of finance. But when an ordinary coder like Daniel builds the same power, it's called dangerous. It's called illegal. It's silenced because it was never about the money. It was about control. Daniel's story isn't just a legend, it's a warning. A glimpse of a future where technology has outgrown the gatekeepers. Where ordinary people can hold the same power as billion-dollar firms. And where those in control will do anything, pay anything, threaten anyone, to keep it locked away. So ask yourself, if they buried Daniel's bot, how many other secrets are buried right now? How many forbidden AIs, hidden codes, and silenced inventors have already been erased before we ever heard their names? And most importantly, what happens the day one of those secrets slips through the cracks and into your hands? Because that day is coming. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. The AI arms race has already begun. And when the next Daniel refuses to sell out, when the next forbidden algorithm escapes the vault, the world of finance will never be the same again. If you've made it this far, then you already know the truth. Knowledge is power, and power is the one thing they can't afford you to have. This channel exists for one reason: to reveal the stories they want buried, the warnings they want silenced, and the truths they'll pay millions to hide. So if you're ready to see the secrets they fear the most, if you want to be one step ahead of the game they've rigged for decades, then hit subscribe right now, because the next video might just contain the secret they can't afford you to hear. And the question is, when the forbidden AI finally arrives, will you be ready to use it?